Hey guys, well, I'm just kidding.
I'm
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so today, these are my friends. My friend Monica Minaj is over here. No, don't do that. We don't like putting in my content. And maybe they'll subscribe to me. Please don't look at my feet. Okay, so today we're doing a mukbang. A mukbang, because Sam requested one. Yeah. And we delivered food. I don't know, I honestly don't know what we got. I don't remember. I know we got tteokbokki. Come on, I'm gonna show. Okay, we got this. Okay. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's...
Oh, dumplings.
Okay, we got, you guys can't look. I'm just kidding. We got fried dumplings, bomb. Okay. And then we got,
Plates?
ooh, I know, do you have plates? Because that'd be nice. Oh my gosh, it's hot.
Ooh,
No.
we still got plates.
Ooh, let's get it. Let's get, this is fried food. What is it called?
Tweaking.
Tweaking? These are the Korean experts. Yeah, this is Mom. This is Christine, girl. You saw her on my last video. And where we were? Oh, Nami Island. I was going to say Bukhansan video. I don't even take videos and you weren't even there.
Wow, you didn't vlog Bukhansan?
No, because that was a lot of work, you know. And then I would have been a lot of waiting. Oh, and then last but not least, we got, oh look, Onika Minaj is back. She's also from the Nami Island video. I'm talking like I have real subscribers.
From the producers of...
I'm the producers of tteokbokki in a bag.
Yeah, that's how it all spills.
I don't know if it's like this way. Look at that bomb! Color sucks.
You see? In today's tutorial, we are, I'm just kidding.
Teaching you how to eat food.
Yeah. Not makeup. Food. Remember when I did your makeup?
Oh my god, it's like an egg roll.
Is it? Oh, not mine.
What's in this dumpling? Just rice?
Is that what?
That's kind of sweet. It's noodles. You should dip it in the sauce. Supposed to talk about something?
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh no. You want to tilt it? Come here. Yeah.
Oh, forward?
No, it's fine. Right there.
We're eating. It's just us eating. Hold on, we're not
Well, that's
even
what a
talking.
mukbang is.
No, they talk though, don't they?
It's literally food broadcast.
That's it. So they just
Well,
people just watch people
console.
eat.
You can turn on the scary story.
Oh yeah.
I think my life's a scary story.
But if I get them, you'll be monetized.
I think. And they put it in one container. So there's TV shows. Yeah, I'm not gonna eat that. I think it'll be bad for my throat anyways. Oh yeah, the spicy food.
There was an ad on Zillow for a shared apartment near the chicken farm I worked at. I moved in because it was convenient and already furnished. I just dropped off my clothes in the mini
so
dresser.
big
I already
and
had a bed
disgusting.
to sleep in the spare room. The man who was renting the room out to me was old. He was like 70 or something. His name was Ben. It was a non-contractual agreement, meaning I paid him by the week. But he was more or less still a roommate. He was very old-fashioned and included everything in the house. Never exactly come from a wealthy family, so trust me when I say this was a steal for me. One night after getting home from a long day of work, I collapsed into bed and fell asleep like a baby. But suddenly, I awoke to the bedroom door opening. Light poured into the room from the hallway, and standing in the doorway was the old man, Ben, with his hand on the doorknob. He said in his deep, hoarse voice, "Stay out of the basement." He said he knew I went down there. I defended myself and assured him I didn't, because I actually didn't. He shut the door, and I heard him walk downstairs. I sat there thinking this guy must be unstable or something. The next day, I was off from work. Ben took his old jalopy down the road. I'm guessing to the store. While I was alone, I stared at the basement door. I knew it was the basement door because I'd seen him go down there before. I went to open it just to peek downstairs, but obviously it was pitch black down there.
I would have never been compelled to go down there if it weren't for his bizarre remark about not going down there. Well, but I figured he wasn't going to go anytime soon, so I continued down. What if your video is taken down because someone else needs to do it? Well, it was for the most part. It was fun while lasting. Just the music over it. Yeah. Behind that door was something unimaginable. The door was very hard to open because there was some rubber concealer under the door. I'm guessing to keep that awful smell out of the rest of the basement and house. I don't know the basement. It smelled bad. I wouldn't. I'm gonna go down the damn basement. Let me go. Like in that movie we watched. He was an urn. We did not watch him. Rotting light. I had to refrain from puking right there. I noticed a camera hung in the top right corner of the room, leaned down at some workbench. I took a quick picture of the room and hurried out there. I went up to the spare bedroom, with all my clothes in a garbage bag, and the door slammed shut downstairs. He was back. I played it cool and greeted him from the upstairs hallway. He didn't respond. I heard him open the basement door and stomp downstairs. I saw that as my cue to sprint to my car. I made it to my car and without looking back, drove away from there.
I drove 15 miles back to my brother's farm and showed him the picture. He said I was an idiot for not calling the sheriff sooner. So I called 911 and told them to bring a search warrant to Ben's address and check the basement before he could clear it out. I made it clear I was simply his temporary roommate or tenant living with him and came across it. My brother let me stay with him for a few weeks till I was ready to get back out there and find another apartment. I'm not sure how many of you went to college, but for those of you who did, you most likely remember that feeling of walking into your dorm for the first time meeting your roommate, John, out with me and a couple of the other kids from the floor. He didn't want to go, claiming he was trying to stay on top of his work as soon as possible. So I went out. When I got back, John was fast asleep. It was kind of late, so I just went straight to bed too.
Okay.
It started to rain pretty heavy outside. A storm was in the forecast. I woke up in the middle of the night hearing thunder crashing. I was too comfortable and lazy to roll over and look outside. But even with my eyes closed, I was noticing the constant flashing from the lightning. If anything, it actually helped put me back to sleep. Next morning, I woke up, and my backpack was open and moved. I didn't accuse John this time. I decided I was going to stay up that night and wait, listen to what he was doing. So after a long rainy day, night came, as did the time for me to hit the hay. I stayed on my phone for a long time, listening to the rain outside the window. Around 1 or 2 a.m., I flipped on my side and pretended to be asleep. I did this for a long time, and eventually I started noticing the flashes again. 2 or 3, actually. I turned to my other side and saw John sitting upright in his bed. I only caught a glimpse of him quickly putting down his arms as I flipped over. Suddenly all those flashes made sense. It wasn't lightning. It was him taking pictures of me. I played dumb and said, "What are you doing?"
To his boo.
He stuttered and said he couldn't sleep. The next day I told the other kids on the floor about it and how weird John was overall. They said I should request a room change. I agreed with them. At whatever point I went back to the room, John was actually gone for once. I couldn't believe it. laptop was also on his bed with the lid cracked open. I had to snoop. I was too curious.
All these motherfuckers.
I opened the laptop, and I was on John's desktop, which was littered full of folders, programs, and images. It was the messiest desktop I've ever seen.
I don't know how people live like that.
I started opening the random pictures on his desktop. Most of them were weird, but then I got to the disturbing ones.
Said my name.
Pictures of me. Upon opening one of them, I realized it was a picture of me in bed, taken with an iPhone with a flash. He had stored all the pictures he'd taken of me on his computer. He even had pictures of my duffel bag and the inside of my backpack.
He loved you.
I took a video of the laptop screen, then deleted every picture I could find from his computer and closed his laptop.
That's so scary.
I went straight to the hall that dealt with dorm life and showed them the video. I requested a new roommate immediately. I don't know how John was disciplined by the school, but I was going to be given a new room across campus the next day. However, on my last night with John, I couldn't sleep at all.
Wait, you still in the room?
I heard the springs under his mattress kinking as he got up from his bed at some odd hour in the night. Then silence. Silence until I heard a short, quiet exhale come from right above my bed.
No.
He was standing over my bed. I just knew it. But I was just simply too afraid to turn around.
I'm
Less than a minute later, I heard the springs under his mattress again, and the rest of the night was silence. I was out first thing in the morning. Why he went through my bags? The kid was an insane freak. I'm happy I got away from him.
That's what cool piece is. Cool piece. Oh. Cool pieces. Cool piece. Oh, this is also
When I moved out from home, my dad's friend Kathy was subletting her apartment with 2 bedrooms. She said she'd give me a good deal. However, I'd have to share it with some older women she found.
Yeah.
She was tight on money, so I understood.
Kathy introduced the woman and I the day I moved in. Her name was Betty.
Betty.
She was like 60 years old. It felt weird knowing I'd have a roommate who could almost be my grandma. Since Kathy was subletting the apartment, it already had furniture. I just had to bring my own bed and dresser. The weirdness started on the second night. I was watching TV in the living room when Betty's head appeared from behind the wall to the hallway, and she stared at me intently. She started muttering these strange, faint noises. "Betty, you okay?" I asked. She groaned and disappeared back into the hallway.
Mom, what the fuck?
I immediately got on the phone with Kathy and asked if there was something wrong with Betty. Kathy said there was nothing wrong with her as far as she knew, though she only met her a week ago. When I told her about what Kathy just did, she was surprised. The next day I ran into Kathy cooking eggs in the kitchen. She said good morning, and I asked her if she was okay last night. She seemed confused what I was referring to, and I mentioned the way she was staring at me and making those noises. She claimed she had no recollection of it. All I could chalk it up to in my head was some kind of psychotic break.
Or sleepwalking?
Fast forwarding through normal, unnecessary fluff, I was laying in my bed on my laptop with the light off. There was a knock at my 9 a.m., but it was pitch black. I looked at my clock, and it was 1:30 a.m. What I was woken up by became clear when there was a creak in the floor of the room. I saw a figure standing at the edge of my bed in the dark.
Ooh.
"Becky?" I said.
Betty?
Becky
I
or
heard the
Betty?
familiar groaning sound again. I flipped on the lamp next to my bed, and there she was. This 60-something-year-old woman, with her long, graying hair all disheveled, looking like a half-awake psycho. But really, the first thing I noticed was the large knife in her hand.
What the fuck?
I screamed a horrific scream as I curled up in the corner of my bed, expecting her to attack or do something. But she just kept making her strange sounds. Then she left the room.
Why is she making that?
I ran.
I called Kathy at 8 and explained everything. And then I told her she needed to evict Betty immediately. She couldn't believe it, but she still apologized and said she'd be over that day. Kathy came to speak to Betty. She couldn't just evict her right away without a notice, though, and the eviction process takes months.
Ooh.
Betty apologized and said she had no recollection of any of the stuff happening.
Oh, where did she sleep? Like, killing
After Kathy and I did some research, we determined Betty most likely had a severe case of sundowning syndrome, which causes people to become confused or aggressive late in the day when the sun goes down. It's really terrifying knowing in whatever confused state of mind she was in. She likely had the intention of coming into my room and stabbing me for whatever reason.
I'm just kidding. Okay. I guess we're end my video.
Goodbye.
Bye. We just had her leave. Bye.